Ben McKee, West Rucker of Vols 24/7 here in Nashville at Hawkins Field on Vanderbilt's campus, where Tennessee just picked up a series win over Vanderbilt with a 7-6 win over the Commodores, and there are numbers galore that need to be discussed. Tennessee has now won 9 straight games over Vanderbilt, which is the longest streak in the series since they had a 21-game winning streak from 1965 to 1970. Tennessee's now won 3 straight series overall against Vanderbilt. They've won back-to-back series against Vanderbilt for the first time in their building since 1993 and 1995. And oh, by the way, when you look outside of the rivalry series this weekend, with Florida knocking off Kentucky this early afternoon, 10-1, Tennessee moves into a tie for first place in the SEC overall and a tie for first place in the SEC East as well. And if Arkansas is able to beat Mississippi State later today, then it would become a 3-way tie. So a lot of implications for this weekend as we knew coming in. And as usual, as we've come to expect, Christian Moore is always here for it.
Yeah, I mean, this was just, first off, just a great baseball game. I'm going to take my hat off to both teams, I guess, here. But I mean, it's a fluky game at times. Baseball can be such a cruel game. I mean, Vandy squares up 3 or 4 balls in the 9th inning against really good relief pitchers, gets hardly anything out of it, right? I mean, Christian Moore gets a 102-mile-an-hour fastball up and in and somehow muscles it over the right field wall despite maybe not hitting it flush.
And keeping it fair,
too.
He
thought it was foul. I mean, that ball, very few guys at this level touch that pitch, much less hit it fair, much less hit it over the wall. And it's 335 in that corner, so it gets out anywhere. It was just an unbelievable bat from an unbelievable player, and he made 2 really good plays defensively. Today took a run off the board early in maybe the 3rd inning it was, and then again in the 9th inning.
Yep.
Just what a baseball player, man. What a baseball player.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 3-run homer wasn't the only run-producing hit he had. Early in the game when Tennessee jumped out to I believe it was a 1-0 lead at the time and a 2-1 lead at the time. A couple of RBI singles as well. So Simo responsible for driving in 5 of the 7 runs. Just continues to have a phenomenal season. On the mound, and we'll shift to the mound because not that Simo was the only guy. Guys had to get on base as well. But again, he drove in 5 of the 7 runs, and it was mostly the Simo show. Cal Stark also had a triple that set Simo up for an RBI. But on the mound, Tennessee had to grit its way to a win today. Vanderbilt scored 6 runs. Nobody was really bad, but I don't know that anybody had their best stuff. Even Nate Snead coming in and getting back-to-back outs to end the game. First one was roped at Simo, the play that you alluded to, or I guess that was maybe the one to
Tears
in right field, which
play.
I don't know if you can see the sun shining off my big old forehead right now, but I don't know how Kavaris was able to catch that play in the sun. But just a real tough, gritty win from the pitchers on the mound with Beam, Kirby, Combs, and Snead to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple reasons for that. One, Vandy's has talented players, and it's not playing well right now, but it's a desperate team. It's not playing badly, it's just not playing great, but it's a desperate team that has talent playing at home and is almost, you hate to say it, maybe fighting for a postseason berth at this point. It's starting to slide to that level, and we could be sitting here in a week laughing at that, but I mean, that I said that, but it might be heading that way. And, there was a really tight zone today. I'm going to say it was a fair zone. Like, the guy called it, I thought, both ways all day long. And other than maybe one pitch that I thought was high, he just did not extend the zone at all. Like, you needed to put that ball in the square or he wasn't calling it for anybody. And that's always going to make it tough because these guys are strong. They're good athletes. They have metal bats. They can do damage with that, right? They can extend at bats, and then they can make you pay. Balls that would not be hits with wood are hits. And it can snowball on you a little bit. But I think today, Ben, showed me again, and I hope it showed everybody, that Tennessee, you look at the stuff from some of those Vandy guys and the numbers, then you look at the stuff of Tennessee and some of those guys, and they have great stuff, some of them, but the numbers, like 4th, 3rd national in ERA, whatever it is, grit's a part of that. Like, it's not just all velocity, but they are just tough, good pitchers. They make pitches they have to when they need to, and that's why, despite not being the deepest, despite no A.J. Russell, where they are in ERAs, because they grit like they did today. When they don't have their best stuff, none of them did, but they found a way.
They absolutely did, and they will look to find a way to sweep Vanderbilt tomorrow on Mother's Day, another 3 p.m. Eastern first pitch on ESPN2. Wes and I will be back here at Hawkins Field for plenty of coverage of that one. In the meantime, we've got plenty of coverage of Tennessee's Game 2 win, a 7-6 win to clinch another series win, 8 straight which is pretty wild. If you would have told me they'd reel off 8 straight after they lost to Alabama, I would have questioned that opinion. But kudos to them. I think the grit and the determination, if I can get the word out of my mouth, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because that was a high wire act. That was a 3.5 hour high wire act
Yep.
where every single pitch all the time was a high pressure pitch. And Tennessee could have pulled away and didn't, could have pulled away, didn't, then goes behind, then could have pulled away and didn't, then comes back and then almost gave it up a little bit there late. I mean, just it was, man, that's why coaches, man, take your baby aspirin if you're a coach, man. That's a tough life for those guys.
It absolutely is. We'll be back here tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, as we mentioned, and also plenty of coverage of Tennessee baseball's big win over Vanderbilt up at the site at GoVols247.com. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.